had that conversation, been asked the conversation, how can you trust your wife? Or how can X, Y, or Z? And there's just a level of surety when there is a faith, and everyone's human. I'm very aware of that. But there's a level of trust that goes along with the faith that just people without it, maybe they have great marriages, wonderful. But I just feel there's something missing there. So I think that's powerful. I think that's bigger than people realize, right? And me and my wife talk, and it drives every decision that we have. And I'm sure it's very similar for you and your wife. That sounds insane for someone without faith, of any faith, right? Like that just sounds insane that something outside of you two are driving the decisions of your life. Wait a minute, right? You know what I mean? But that's the submission, right? Um, Something I wanted to ask here is again, I'm aware there's a branding element, there's a polarization element. I'm aware, but a lot of your content, surrounds women going a little crazy, okay, in the modern world. And there's no secret that this is happening more and more in the West. It's also happening in the East, but to a significantly lower degree. What advice would you give young women? So you can't teach them how to be women, but you can teach them how to have relationship with men, if that makes sense.
Oh man, it's something I've stayed far away from. Like advice for women. I made like a very stern decision when we were like kind of deciding how this was all going to go. It was like, all right, personal development, right? This kind of applies to everybody. Why wouldn't I like want to teach men and women? And for me, it was kind of like that wasn't part of it was that's not what I felt called to do at the time, nor do I now. And the other part of it was like, I don't want to, I have no desire to like develop deep relationships with other women outside of my life. Like zero desire at all. I don't even like being friendly with women in general because ah, it's just weird to me. I don't see a benefit in it. If I were to give like women advice on how to have a successful relationship with a man in today's day and age, I honestly don't. I don't even know where I would start. I think what we just talked about is the big answer. You know, it's like I always tell guys, if you are a Christian, why would you even consider or whatever religion you're in? That is like a staple. Your political beliefs, your religious beliefs, your financial beliefs, like the how many kids do you want to have kids? Do you not want to have kids? Like these big, big, big decisions. How many people get married without talking about any of that stuff? I was one of them.
A lot. I wasn't, but a lot. A lot.
All
Yeah.
the time, all the time. We have friends, not I mean like people we meet and friends that like they realize after they got married and have children, like they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, like as far as their religious beliefs, because one of them didn't take it that seriously but like believed, and the other one happened to be like an atheist. But what happens when you have children? How are you going to raise them? This is a world, this is a belief system, a worldview that those two do not mesh at all. It's quite the opposite, right? So number one, like make sure you're aligned. Whatever you believe in those categories, make sure you guys believe in that together. That's like an easy place to start, because I think as long as that stuff is pretty in line and you guys are cool on, you can kind of figure out everything else. Everything else like is just kind of negotiable and navigatable. Um, and I think the most important thing I would say to ladies is to encourage your guy to become the best version of himself, to speak life into him, and to wherever he is currently at, accept who he is. Accept who he is, like you chose him, right? If you don't like it, if it's that big of a deal, these little things that you're nitpicking and complaining about, why are you with him? Right? If you can just choose to encourage the good things about him and push him towards that, I guarantee he will absolutely love to grow and become better for you. You know, it's really difficult for a guy to grow when he has someone telling him about all the things he's constantly doing wrong, um, constantly being made aware of how he's not good enough. That's like our core. That in our core, like the message, like that book "Wild at Heart." John Eldridge wrote another book about raising sons. It's called "You Have What It Takes." Like that at its core, that's what we need to hear as young boys and as men. We need to know that we have what it takes, that we can, you know, achieve these lofty dreams and goals, that we can, that we are enough. Um, and when you grow that side of a man, like you really start seeing him uh, make the changes. Like when I had Dusty, who's my first mentor, when I had him in his life, after every meeting and conversation we had, every single one of them, probably hundreds of times, as we were leaving, he would look me in the eyes and say, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I believe in you guys." And at first, like I was like, "All right, cool, man. You know, thanks." But that, like, after a while, I realized like what he was doing, and I started to like do it to other people and do it to guys who I was mentoring and leading on the sales team. And you just see like when guys don't believe in themselves, if they just have someone else who can believe in them for them, they'll eventually make up the difference.
I'm getting a whole heap of books here, which is fantastic. It's great. It's amazing.
What's going on, guys? If you like that clip right there, you will love the full interview. You can check that out right there. I'll see you on the next video. Oh, and subscribe because we got a lot of big things coming up in the near future.